Hi. So, this may be a slightly less energetic video than normal. This game might be a little painful to look through, but I think that's one of the reasons that it's really, really important that I do make myself sit down and look through this game. So this is second round. If you haven't watched the first round, go check that out. It's a really, really interesting tactical Catalan game, which is quite unusual in the Catalan. And I did manage to come out on top, so I won that first game. In second round, I have been paired against like an 1830 who realistically I don't think is 1830. I was talking to them afterwards, and just based on how they played in the game, and I don't think that they're like 2100 or 2200 or anything, but I think they are better than 1800. Based on how they played and they held their nerves, and they have a very, very good event overall. They beat multiple strong players and hold 1900 plus players to a draw. So I mean, I probably, just based on some of the positional decisions I saw them make in my game, I'm not sure if they were unusual, but based on some of those decisions, I wouldn't put them at 2000, but I think they are better than their rating of 1830. But yeah, I need to stop procrastinating. Time to have a look at this game. So I had the black pieces, so yeah, let's flip the board, and we get an English, which I'm very happy to see. I'm very, very happy to see. If you haven't watched it, in Durham Congress, I faced the English c4, and I want to play a symmetrical English with c5, but I also don't want to allow this knight f3 d4 line. I don't mind the knight f3 d4 line. As you see later in this event, actually, I end up playing a Maroczy structure against a dragon, and I'm very comfortable in those positions. But I choose to play g6 just to slightly discourage those ideas. We get knight c3, and now I go for c5. Now that d4 is a little harder to achieve, we get knight f3, bishop g7, g3, knight c6. This is all very normal, bishop g7, d6, and castles. Now, this is the first point at which I stopped. And actually, this isn't a mistake by any means, but I do regret what I play in this position. Because if you remember, the English I played in Durham, they actually went d3 in this position. And I end up going e6. But after castles, what I'd originally had prepped for that other game was bishop e6 in this position. And it's basically just one of these slightly sketchy Hikaru lines that he plays in Rapid and Blitz, where you go queen c8, bishop h3, h4, h5, h5, h4, and start a big attack. And this is what I was going to play when I saw that they castled. And then I was like, I had such a good opening last time with e6 that I think I'll just play e6 and transpose, if they allow me to. I think this was a mistake. I think, not from a game point of view, I get a very nice position out of the opening, but just from a psychological point of view, ever since I saw this interview with Magnus about talking about the best piece of advice he's been given in chess, and he said that his coach once told him that they saw that he had played the same line with the Sicilian 3 games in a row, and they were like, I don't mind if what you play is objectively good or bad, but if you're not exploring, then you're not learning. And forced him to play new lines and new things. And ever since I saw that interview, and ever since I started mixing up my opening repertoire and not just playing 1b3, 1b6 every game, I've tried to live by that sort of mentality. So in this game, when I chose not to do that, when I chose to play something that I've already played quite recently and get a quite familiar structure and position, I think I was a bit just disappointed in myself. Just explore, have fun with it, play something different, play something unique. And like, they're both totally reasonable moves. E6 is probably a little safer, which is probably why I went for it. But there are a couple of reasons not to go for e6 in this position. First one being, unlike what happens in the game, they can now go e3, and they can get d4 in one move. Which, I knew this was a thing, and it's totally reasonable, and it's totally fine for black. But I don't really want to allow it. It's kind of why I want to play this only really in response to d3, in opposed to castles. But next game in the English, I promise I am playing this bishop e6 line. Or like, I'm promising myself that. Like, I'm exploring, I'm playing something a little different, and having a bit more fun with it. They do go d3, so they don't go for the critical option, which is fine. This is still totally reasonable. Now I go bishop e7, they go bishop d2, and they go for their normal English plans of playing b4, and I'm just going to get my setup, which I've talked through before. If this is unique or weird to you, then check out the round 2 from Durham Congress. Yeah, now in this position, my opponent decides to take. And I think this is a slightly strange position. Sorry, like, decision. Like, I don't think it's, like, bad. But I think it's, like, unambitious for white, probably. Like, it allows me to... I take back with the d-pawn. I assume that that's correct, I don't know. I mean, I can take back with this pawn. I'm not sure if anything like that... Oh, sorry, I cannot draw arrows today, but I don't know if anything like this is, like, reasonable for black. It might be. But I prefer taking back with the d-pawn, just keeping some control in the center, keeping my queen side very solid. And now they go queen b3. And yeah, I mean, taking it just removes a lot of the pressure on black's position. And I can just hop my knights in, and I've got really good control over this central square. I mean, I've got fantastic control. Like, you are never getting d4, and I've got that defended 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Like, I was happy with my position at this point. Like, even though I was kind of disappointed in myself for not trying something new in the opening, I think my position here is undeniably quite comfortable. They go bishop, knight to b5, just trying to prevent me from being able to place a knight in the center without allowing a lot of trades. And I can still place a knight in the center and allow a lot of the trades, but I was thinking, if I allow everything to get traded, I didn't really know what I thought of this position. Like, white's got the main pawn breaks other than e4. Eventually, the light squares around the king are a little weak, but there's no real way to take advantage of them. I thought I slightly preferred white's position here, but probably the engine disagrees with that analysis. Let's just give it a double check out of interest. Yeah, no, I'm right. White doesn't like this position. The engine doesn't like this position. So yeah, I didn't want to trade everything. So I just go h6 as a waiting move. And the point of this waiting move actually is because, first of all, I think it's just useful. Like, both of these pieces are potentially looking at coming to this square at some point in the future. So I disallow that. And the other point is it's just a waiting move. So if they go bishop to c3, which is the natural move to try and trade off these bishops. Sorry, I don't know why I cannot draw arrows today. Then it allows me to do what I do in the game, which is knight c4. And the point is that now, after takes and takes, I gain a tempo because I'm hitting the bishop, which, if we'd done in the other variation... whoa, sorry. If we'd done in the other variation, then, like, just compare the positions after h6. Like, I get h6 for free, and it's black's move again. So, like, white's just, like, lost a tempi on the other variation, and that still doesn't mean this is bad. And now we've reached kind of a funky, slow Benoni structure. And, like, it's probably a good Benoni for white. Like, it's probably, yeah, like, they've traded off a piece, um, which is quite nice, and I'm very slow with my play in the center. But at the same time, it's like it's still a Benoni structure. You don't have a B pawn, which is nice for your queenside activity, but it's also, it means it's quite hard to restrict my pieces, and also these bishops on this diagonal staring at each other. Like, I thought that this was totally reasonable for me. Now, I think the reason that they don't go bishop b5, by the way, which is slightly more natural, is because the move that I want to make anyway is rook e8. I didn't know, I was considering some other things as well. I was looking at e5 immediately, but I didn't know if this walked into some tactical idea. Like, I wasn't sure if my opponent could go c5, and then I want to play bishop d5, but I thought this might run into knight takes e5. Let me just check this with the engine. I think that this is correct. This is just very good for white, yeah. I don't know if I have any other options in this position. Oh, I'm actually better here if I just go rook fe8. Wow. Wow, that's crazy, so I can just sacrifice this pawn completely? No. No, it wants me to go e4 and break out. Okay, that's interesting. That's very reasonable, but it is still a pawn sacrifice. But yeah, no, I didn't want to go for that because I missed... Well, I wanted to just prepare the e5, e4 push a bit slower, which I think is reasonable on my part. Now they go rook fc1, just supporting their pawn break, and I play e5, supporting my pawn break, or preparing my pawn break. Now they go c5, and I can place my bishop in the center like I wanted before. I don't think that any of these tactical ideas work, and they go bishop b5. Now, queen b5, sorry. Now, given what happened in the game, there were two lines I was considering. I play the best line, but given what happened in the game, I wish I didn't. Like, because this is, I think the engine prefers this for white slightly, but I think that this is practically quite good for black, sorry. Like, I think I'm probably going to create a pawn, a pass pawn. I think this, well, I mean, I probably want to just go a6 and play it solidly, but, like, this is probably going to be more of a weakness than b5 will be. I think my bishop is slightly better than their bishop, and I've still got the e5 pawn break, the e4 pawn break, and they don't really have any effective pawn breaks. Like, they can go a4 at some point, but I just play a6 and redefend it. So I was thinking that, yeah, probably this position is just quite difficult for white to play practically. Like, yeah, again, if I check it with the engine, it's probably going to say white is slightly better. Wow, I wasn't expecting white to be so much better. Maybe there's something concrete here I'm missing. Knight e1, takes, a6. Okay, wait, what? Oh, okay, king g2, a6. And what's the issue here? Oh, wow. So yeah, it's very concrete. It's looking at like c6 and just pushing through. And I mean, if this works, then that's a real pain for black. But actually, I just assumed that that pawn wasn't surviving. But I guess it is if it gets to c7 and the bishop lands on a5, and that is quite annoying. But I don't know, even then I've got like this, and surely I'm like surrounding that pawn. I don't know. I think that this is quite comfortable for black practically, and I think it's quite hard for white to play like this without losing a pawn. And the engine, of course, doesn't mind losing a pawn as well for the activity, but from a human perspective, I don't know. I feel like this is fine for black. Now, if c6... Oh, sorry. But that didn't happen in the game. I think I should have gone for it, but I go bishop c6 straight away. And the point of this, I mean, there's a couple of reasons. If they go back, now I go b5 and I get to keep the queens on, which I assume was a slightly improved version, but now they find this move, queen at a6, and I stress a little bit, because I'm like, because I realize I don't think I can take on c5, because yeah, again, it's a similar tactic to before. This knight takes e5 idea is really annoying. I think, oh, I can't even remember what it was the engine wanted me to play. It was another pawn sacrifice, but, oh, no, sorry, the engine wanted me to go for e4 here, I believe, and like blow open this position, which makes a lot of sense. But I'm just trying to time it correctly. I don't want to rush, so I play the slightly slower move. Rook to e6, just keeping everything lined up, keeping everything defended. They take, release an attack on the queen. And at this point, actually, they offered me a draw as well, which I'm like, I can't be accepting draws in these, like, unbalanced, interesting positions against lower-rated players, especially not in round 2 of a Congress. Like, I've got to be trying to play for more. But, yeah, after... so I guess... their point is that there's some kind of repetition that they're going to take. But, so I go... So, yet again, I think that I should be playing for a much faster e4 than I do in the game, but yet again, I just want to prepare it a bit more. So I play bishop to d5, they go queen to b4, and I thought this was a slight mistake. I thought they should have offered the trade of queens immediately, because this allows me to reroute my bishop round and keep an eye on this pawn, which I think is probably useful for black. Sorry, there are a lot of very interesting ideas positionally and tactically that I'm sort of skimming over, just for the sake of I don't want this video to be like 3 hours long. But yeah, no, I think I should just keep on playing for e5. e4, sorry. Like, I think I should just completely ignore this queen, just immediately play for e4, break through, try and apply some pressure on this pawn, activate my pieces, open up this diagonal for my bishop. I think that's what I should be playing for. I do go bishop f8, and the point is that, like, this pawn is hanging. And actually here, the engine wants me to, they want me to trade, which is what I do, and now I make a slight mistake. The engine wants me to take, and I'm like, what? That's crazy, but the point is that, of course, takes. I come back down to the back rank, and I win back the exchange, but it's not even so simple then, because they can, like, defend it, and I thought that this all looked very, very complicated. The engine says it's just, like, fine for black, I think. Let me just check this. I have analysed this game with the engine a little bit. Oh wait, no, this is dead loss. What? Knight e7. Oh, and I'm placing my knight there or something? Wait, so where did I go wrong? Oh, sorry, they can't take the bishop. They just cannot take the bishop. Okay, wow. But yeah, that was the engine variation, which does make sense looking at it, because you just cannot take the bishop. But actually, this is something, really the sort of thing I should be seeing. I have no good excuse for why I missed it. I was just tired and warm, and I thought I'd play what felt like a more solid move, with bishop c5, which is what I play in the game. It just felt slightly more solid. But this is actually a really bad move. This is like just a concrete tactical blunder. Because what I was calculating was, what I was looking at was, okay, knight takes e5 doesn't work because rook takes e5, and knight takes d4 doesn't work because takes with check. King moves just here, for example. Now I pick up the rook. If you take back, then I can just defend this, and I'm up a bunch of pawns in the endgame. Oh wait, am I? No, I'm not. Maybe this is what I wanted to do instead. Oh yeah, and I'm playing against weaknesses. I think I'm better in this endgame. I don't know. It's kind of complicated, but I thought that was fine for me. But what I missed was they've actually got knight g5, which is a really, really annoying move, and I just didn't consider this, and neither did my opponent, I think. And the point is, I think I'm just losing an exchange here. Actually, wait. Sorry, my stomach's rumbling. Crazy. I do have this move. It's very complicated. It's very interesting. What does the engine think? Sorry, I'm turning back to the engine quite a lot, but bishop d5, d7, d5. I'm just knight e4, and this is just an absolute pain for me, apparently. And I am losing a pawn here by force, yeah? Actually, am I? Oh, because bishop b4, that's the idea. Wow. But yeah, no, I mean, this was a really, really poor thing to miss that I shouldn't just take on a3. I did also consider just simply taking on a3 with the rook, but I thought that looked like I was giving up a lot. Like, my light squares become very, very weak there. And and to be fair, I think the bishop c5 is the best move if you miss knight g5. So I think that this is kind of reasonable. And luckily my opponent misses it too. They go rook a1, just trying to defend the a pawn again. And now I go bishop c6, just wanting to get my bishop onto a square where it's defended by the rook, actually. And once they move their rook back, I play king g7. This is yet again a mistake because they do have this knight g5 move, I believe. No, I can just take that now. Sorry, ignore me. Yeah, but now they go bishop b5, trying to trade off my bishop, which is just keeping everything defended. And I think this is a slight mistake, because now I can go e4 and try and break open the position, which I should have done a long time ago. But I think for this, I think I've played well until now, other than missing this one tactical idea of knight g5. I think I have played a very good game, because now I take back with the bishop, everything's opening up, and I think my pieces are just better placed for the progress in this game. Like, if they take, we would talk about this after the game, pawn takes back, and these pass pawns look very sketchy. This just looks very comfortable for black, I think. So they go a4, and I play rook c8, just wanting to get out of the way, and keep this defended again, and also potentially threaten takes and opening up my rook, so they come back to avoid those ideas, but this allows bishop d5, and I was really surprised not to see rook b2 here, because you've got to play rook b2 here, I think, to play for, to avoid rook takes e2, because it takes on h6. They go rook to b5, and this is where things get really painful, for a couple of reasons, because, first of all, yes, the pawn on e2 is hanging. Yes, I saw that the pawn on e2 was hanging. And no, I don't take the pawn on e2. I can't give a clear explanation as for why. I go bishop c4, and when they bring their rook back, I take with the bishop. And, I mean, it's what I saw. I just decided I wanted to win the pawn with the bishop and play for d3, which I think is totally reasonable, but it's also like, why not take with the rook? Like, just take with the rook, it's just better. Like, keep my bishop on this nice open diagonal, I'm threatening to take on f3, I'm threatening to win the bishop, I'm threatening to go d3 still, and apply pressure on f2. Like, this is just a beautiful position for black. Like, it's completely winning. Like, I don't see what white plays in this position. Like, maybe you have to go, like, rook b2, but then, like I say, d3, and this just looks brutal. This looks absolutely brutal. Maybe you can trade, but I'm still just up a clean pawn, and my pieces are better placed. I don't know why I didn't do it. I decided I wanted to win the pawn with the bishop, and now after a5, I can just take that, that's fine, and I should just play the move d3. And the first move I considered in this position is, of course, the move d3. It's the obvious move. It's the totally obvious move. It's the most obvious move in this position. Just LPDO, solidify all my pieces, solidify my pawn. I have this fantastic bishop. I've got this fantastic bishop. Everything's defended. I have no worries about c2 pin because I just take it. And we're down to playing on the 30-second increment at this point. It's not an excuse. It's not an excuse for the moves I play now, because I proceed to absolutely fall apart. And this is where it just gets really tragic for me as a game to look at. And I go bishop e7, which isn't... I mean, it's a stupid move. It's a stupid move because they just go g4, and they pick up the d4 pawn. And there's nothing I can really do about this. I mean, the one thing that the engine wants me to do is take... And I just missed this idea of rook c1, and taking on c1, and white's up a pawn, but, like, their position is very ugly. I have the bishop pair, they can't move their king, they can't move their bishop. This should be very comfortable for me, and I should have seen this idea, I really should have seen this idea. But I completely panic when they play g4, because I just, like, I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I not see g4? I'm being so stupid. So I panic and I quickly play knight h4, which is still totally fine, because after knight takes d4, I can just take on on g4, they take, I take, and I'm down a point of material, but I have totally reasonable activity, and I still shouldn't lose this position. Maybe I even have some tactical chances. But realistically, it's a draw. And I see that. I promise I saw that in the game. But my brain, I don't know if it melted in the heat, but after knight d4, I was reaching to play that, and then in my head, I'm just like, oh wait, no, this is still fine. I go rook a6, and I take, my bishop escapes, or they take, and they can't take, because then I take their rook. And I just completely forget that the rook's just defended. Like, the rook is just defended. Like, it's terrible. It's terrible. And realistically, like, if I want to maintain my level, if I want to maintain my rating, if I want to push up to 2200, then I cannot be playing moves like this. I cannot be playing games like this. Like, I bring my rook back and I try to play on the game, but it's just over. I'm just down a piece. I'll show you the rest of the game because there are some tricky tactics and ideas, but I'm really just so disappointed in myself for this game. It was a really, really, really poor game by me on a number of levels. And I mean, congrats to my opponent. They played very, very well, and they fully deserved to win the game. I'm not pretending like they don't. I'm not trying to, like, undermine their win, but I am very disappointed in how I played this game. And, like, and realistically, my opponent played very well, but your opponent, but game of chess, you have complete control over your, like, bad luck. Like, I should not be making blunders like this. I shouldn't, and this game for me has actually just proven to me that, like, why I'm not 2200. Why, at this current moment, I don't deserve to be 2200. Because I outplayed them positionally in the game, I felt. Like, winning the pawn on e2 eventually and breaking through. But you cannot be making these tactical blunders. Like, these not particularly complicated tactical blunders. And multiple in a row. Like, I'm very disappointed in myself for this game. It's a very, very, very painful game to look at again. But actually, I just need to be able to stay calmer in time scrambles, and I need to be able to react more confidently to mistakes that I've made and that my opponent have pointed out, even in time trouble. And, like, I'm not totally sure how to do that. If anyone has any recommendations in the comments of how to sort of remain calmer and react to your own mistakes better, then please, I will take any recommendations, any advice. But, like, yeah, realistically, I just don't deserve to be 2200 at the moment if I'm making mistakes like this. So, yeah, my opponent goes bishop c3. I don't think I can allow them to have this bishop on the strong diagonal, so I do trade off. They bring their rook back, just playing it really safe, keeping everything defended. I try and go for some vague tactics, but, I mean, there's nothing. You just go h3. I go g4 at 5, just trying to shuffle my knight back to another useful square, maybe. But they go knight g3, and I think g5 was probably a mistake, letting them jump into these squares, but it doesn't really matter. I'm playing on at this point, I mean, partially just out of annoyance at myself, but there are still some chances here. Like, realistically, if they try and trade everything too quickly, then, like, okay, I mean, you can defend this pawn, but, like, if I can trade off all of these pawns, then that endgame is eventually maybe a draw. There are some vague chances. And also, I don't know if my opponent knows, like, knight and bishop checkmate, so if I can get down to a situation where I can sack everything and force them to play knight and bishop checkmate, I could see if they know it or not. It's worth playing on to see. They don't go for that, they go rook e1, just developing their pieces. I think this is much more sensible, avoiding any piece trades. I bring my rook back, I bring my other rook back to avoid infiltration. And now they go knight h5, and I have to go to g6. They go rook e1, and they're just threatening to, like, checkmate me. So I have to go f6, I think. But this allows them to force off a trade of rooks, and not just that, but they get a pawn, and they get a pawn just completely for free. I'm still playing on, and I honestly feel guilty when I play on these kinds of positions, because, like, it feels disrespectful to my opponent. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it's also like, we've played 3 hours of chess at this point. I'm not gonna not play another 20 minutes and miss the chance that you make a blunder and throw it away and give me back my half a point or something. And like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I'm just going to play on until the last trick is on the board. I bring my rook over, we shuffle our pieces, I have to go h5 and give up another pawn because they're just going to pick it up. But it allows my knight to jump into a slightly annoying square, but realistically there's nothing in this position. We trade off the pawns. I get some maybe tricks, potentially, like after rook b4, if they come forward in either direction, then I win their bishop, and that's probably a draw. But, I mean, they just don't have to fall for it. We shuffle around for a little bit, but once their king walks to f6, it's just over. Like, I bring my king over, and actually here it's already lost, like forced mate lost, like, after rook e7, d6, the king's forced over, and just rook d8 checkmate. They don't find this in the game. We play on a little bit, and they play to promote the h-pawn. And, I mean, I'm playing on here because there are some stalemate tricks. Like, let's say they play, like, h6 here, there's a world in which I do, like, this, this, and this, and I get some kind of, like, crazy rook situation. But, I mean, even then, just everything is winning. Like, you can just give up the rook and promote. Like, there's nothing here, I just have, like, you never know. It feels like there might be some stalemate trick, like I have no king moves. Feels like there might be something. This isn't what happens in the game. They go king g6, block with the knight, and once they've blocked with the knight as well. Here, yet again, I wanted to pretend that there was some stalemate tricks, like, let's say they go h7. Yeah, h7, I wanted to go, like, here, and, like, let's say that they just go, like, king h6, for example, and then I've got, like, knight f7, and, like, kind of crazy rook situation again, where you just sort of sacrifice your rook constantly. But the issue is this still just doesn't even work. Like, okay, I mean, maybe there are scenarios where it can work, but, like, I mean, at the very least, they can just give up the knight, and then there's just no more stalemate ideas, and my position's just really, really sad. Like, there's no reason for me to be playing on here, there's nothing more to look at. And after they go rook e6, there's just no more stalemate tricks, there's nothing more complicated that I can do in the game, and I already felt rude having played it on for as long as I did, so in this position I resign. Sorry, yeah, this is not my most happy video. Yeah, I'm really, really disappointed in how I played, and frankly, I do just need to be playing better quality chess if I want to maintain my level. If I want to maintain my rating, this isn't allowed, and I want to be very strict with myself. I want to be saying, I know blunders happen to everyone. We've all seen, like, the Magnus Carlsen Hikaru game, where Hikaru just, like, hangs mate in one for no apparent reason, and, like, I know these things happen to everyone, but, like, in classical chess, when I've finally broken through, the fact that I can't convert a winning positioning against someone that I outrate by 300 points, I just can't be forgiving myself for that, like, or not easily. Like, I need to be playing, I need to hold myself to a very high standard if I want to improve and if I want to push, and if I eventually someday want to achieve, like, FM or IM, like, I can't ever be losing games like this. Like, this is a really, really poor game by me, I think. I'm really disappointed in my play. But these things do happen, and I'm not saying that as an excuse. And full credit to my opponent. They played a very nice game. Sorry. My phone is yelling at me. Full credit to my opponent. They played a very nice game, but I also just gave them chances that I shouldn't have. Like, at the end of the day, chess should be a draw if I play it well, and actually this game should have been a win if I play it well, and I don't. And I am very disappointed in myself for how I played in this game. And I think that that's understandable. I think most people watching this will also look at this game and think, yeah, how is this guy a candidate master? And yeah, you're right. A very poor game. Yeah, and I mean, I maybe I can blame the heat in the playing hall a little bit. It was very, very warm, but it's not like me and my opponent weren't playing with the exact same conditions. Like, I mean, it's not an excuse. It's not an excuse. There is no excuse for how I played in this game. Yeah. Coming back with probably a couple of slightly more cheerful games after this. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the game and I hope you found it interesting. And yeah, I'll be posting round 3 tomorrow if I can find it, and if I can't find the game, then we'll have to go off my memory, which might be a little sketchy. It should be okay. I should be able to remember the game. But yeah, come back for round 3 tomorrow. Merry Christmas. Have a lovely day.